Now let us understand about a tag called figure tag. Why is this tag and how to use this tag? Figure tag is used for annotating illustrations, diagrams. So most important thing to understand is that it is used for annotating. So let us assume you have a particular illustration or a diagram or photo or code listing and you want to write about that in bottom of it. Let us assume I push 3 pictures and I want to display 2-3 lines about that below just the picture, or I want to write a diagram or something like that. So that is what it is used for, figure. Now let us see the syntax of this tag in HTML5. So it starts with a tag called figure, put some image, and most important thing is this fig caption. See this. This is used for annotation purpose. Okay. So if you have an image and you want to write a simple tag, this is a lovely picture, you just put inside fig caption and it will do the job. Okay. So now what happens is, once it is done, you are pretty much done with the annotation. So let us see one example of how to use the figure tag in HTML5. We will start with doc type HTML, HTML tag, head, and title HTML5 using figure tag, and start with body. So let us take start with a tag called figure, as usual with, as I mentioned, figure, and I am just drawing some image, bmw.jpg, some image, and fig caption, and here I am writing this is a lovely BMW, and close the fig caption and figure. Now I have another picture. How I want to do this? So I will do the same thing. So this figure closes here, and this fig caption is used for providing the annotation, required annotation you want to put it for the image called bmw.jpg. Now I want another picture and put an annotation for that as well. So what I am doing is that I am creating another fig caption. This is a lovely Mercedes and this is a picture of Mercedes. So this is the annotation part, and then close this figure and also close the body and HTML. So now my HTML is done. So now I have 2 pictures and I have provided annotation for both of them. Now once you figure out that how you provide annotation with each one of them, it is very easy to understand that how it works. So let us see by running this in a browser. So when I run this thing, figure tag, in a browser, here is how it works. Okay. So see this, whatever you have put this image is here, and this is your annotation. Okay. Same here, you have created one image and this is the annotation, it comes like. Okay. So everybody, I hope you are clear about how to use the figure tag. It is very simple. You put whatever you want to put here. It can be image, it can be a text, it can be a source code or some sample source code, it can be just a text or some other graphic image, but most of the time what figure is used for putting an annotation for an image. Okay. So put an image here of anything, object, source code, whatever, and that for image you can put the annotation here. Now there is a aside tag. What it does is that you can put any definition, whatever you want, like this, close this. It is used inside an article related to the content, like info box or something. Outside an article you can put it content relevant to the page itself, like a sidebar and all. Now there is another tag called datetime tag. What it means is that the time tag, and it is used to provide the information about date and time in the HTML page. So if you put like time, date time, it will show the time and date. It solves the accessibility issue so that anybody, any other software. As I said, accessibility, what accessibility means? Accessibility means a HTML page can be read and understood and rendered in different kinds of devices in different scenario properly, then it solves the accessibility issue. It also means that if somebody is trying to create a voice representation of an HTML page, then he can read and convert into a audio properly if these tags are have a meaning. So time means, okay, it is displaying time. It can be used in micro formats like H calendar and all. The another element which we are going to discuss or tag is called meter. What is meter used for? So first of all, meter is used for some kind of a rating information which you want to provide in your HTML page. Let us assume you want to provide that based on your quiz, your rating or knowledge of a particular technology on a scale of 1 to 5 is 4, or you want to provide, okay, your performance has been rated at 5, your performance has been rated at 2. So that kind of a rating if you want to provide in your web page, then you can use the tag called meter. How do you do it? The syntax of tag is very simple. It starts with a tag called meter, value equals to 2. This is the value, actual value that user will be displayed. So if it is 2, then 2 star. If it is 3, then 3 star. So 2 out of 10. So how many out of 5 it will be? 4 out of 5, right? So 2 out of 10 means 2 star out of 10 stars. So this is the actual value. This is the maximum value. Why is this given? This is given in case the browser does not support HTML5, then this is what it will display. So is it clear why is this displayed? It is for backward compatibility. It is for backward compatibility. Okay. So in case the browser does not support the meter tag, at least the user will be displayed, you got 2 out of 10. Simple text. Otherwise, it will show some kind of a star or some value. You can also do it in this way, meter value equals to 0.6. What it means is that it is 60%, and this is again for backward compatibility. Okay. So this is again for same reason, backward compatibility, but this is what it shows. Now what are the usefulness of this one? First use is that you can use it for rating. You can ask the user to rate it, YouTube videos and all. Search result relevance, you can produce that, okay, this is almost 20% relevant or almost 40% relevant to the search query you are trying to search. You can display it that, okay, now you have completed 40% or 50% or something like that. So this quota usage. Now the other one is progress tag. What progress tag is means is that some process is going on and you want to change the way it moves. So the previous one was a static. Once you display it is static, but this one keep changing. Progress tag. What it means is that you can say that value equals to 22, max equals to 100, and you can keep changing this value, and this will show like a progress tag. So the difference between both of them is the way it displays, because the basic concept you can use both in overlapping way, but the way the display will happen, the whole bar, that is what is the difference. It will look like a progress tag, but this one, if you go, it looks like a rating, right? So that is the difference. Now the syntax is very simple. You start with progress, gives some value and gives the maximum. So this is your current value where the element is, like this one, and this is the maximum value. If you want to do it for backward compatibility, then you should provide that value here the way we did in the meter. Now it is useful for various things like indicate loading progress of an Ajax application. Something is loading, so you can slowly display the progress, or show user progress through a series of forms. Let us assume that user is submitting 20 forms, then every time user submits a form, in a sequence of 20, you can keep showing the progress bar that now you are almost 20% complete, now you are almost 30% complete, now you are almost 40% complete. So with the series of that forms you filled up, you can do that. Other thing is that making a impatient users wait. So let us assume that he clicks a button which generates a report, but generating of that report takes a lot of time. So what you can say is that you can just keep displaying this progress bar as the report is getting ready, and so that when the report is ready, user will see, okay, now it is still taking some time, it will take more time. Okay, so for that purpose you can use this one. There is a new tag called capital M. What it means is that marked or highlighted text. So I am writing some text and all in my HTML page, and suddenly I want a particular part of the text to be highlighted. So what it does is that it should not be confused with the EM, that is for different purpose. It indicates a point of interest or relevance and is useful for multiple things. Highlighting a relevant code example, code in a code sample. It can be used for highlighting search keywords in a document like a Google cache or something. And the way it works is this one. So the highlighted part below is where when you use capital M before the 1.1 and after 1.1, it will work like this. The syntax for this is, see that how I am using it. Okay, I am using M before this and after this to close it. So this means is I want to highlight 1.1. Now let us develop one HTML page using meter, progress and capital M tag, and we see that how we can use in creating a new HTML5 page using this new tag. So we will start with doc type HTML. HTML like head, put the title, head, close, body, and we will start with our first meter. Okay, so I am just declaring meter 2 out of 10 like this. This is example of meter tag, this will say, and close it. I am going to declare another meter called 0.6, 60%, and close it. Now I am going to declare a progress value called 22, max is 100. This is example of progress tag, and we will do it. So this one was for meter, this one was again for meter, and this is for progress. Okay. Now let us just put this. The highlighted part below is where the error lies. This is for M. Okay, so this is for your M, and close it. Body HTML. So now we have a sample HTML page which uses the concept called meter, progress, and M tag. I write it capital M, but it should be, preferably you should use always a small m. Now when I run this HTML page, you see that how the result come. So the result come is that for this one, the result is this. For this one, the result is this one. For this, the result is this one. Okay. Now if you see here, it says that 2 out of 10. So this is what it is showing. Now if you see, it is not showing as a star, right? This one is not a star. This one is also not a star. This one is a progress bar of a different type. Now the way the browser will display this meter, the way the browser will display the meter and progress bar is depending on the browser to browser. So some browser will show a star, some browser will show a bar, some browser will show a light coded bar, some browser will show a oval kind of a bar, so that the rendering of the tag meter and progress depends from browser to browser. And also sometimes what happens is that when you are using this tag, new tags like meter, section, and we have discussed earlier header, nav, footer, all those tags which are aside, there are so many elements, new elements or tags we have discussed. Now all of these elements and tags may not be supported by all the browsers. So some browsers supports it, some browsers do not support all the elements. So now next challenge for you is how to understand what to use, and that is what is our next session. In the following sections we will discuss about what support, what does not support. So what happens is that this small m, this is not supported by most of the browser right now, although HTML5 specification says that browser should support it, but most of the browsers do not support it. So see, it is not highlighted. Why it is not highlighted? Because I am using a browser called Chrome, and Chrome does not support this tag small m, and that's why it did not work. But Chrome supports the tag called meter and progress, so it is doing like this. But Chrome does not display the meter value as a star, it shows like this bar. So our next topic, or one of the topic in the coming session, will be how do I understand out of this new elements and tag which one is supported by which browser, and let us discuss in the coming slides. But I just wanted to explain you the meter and progress here. And that brings to the very important topic called browser support. So here first let us understand few things. HTML5 is a standard or a specification evolving over last 2-3 years and is still not completely done. It is not a final HTML5 specification or standard. It is still evolving, and people say that it might take another year or two before we can say that HTML5 is almost done. So it is evolving in the draft stage, this specification or standard. So all these elements and tags, they keep adding and changing. Now along with that, browsers are also changing to support these new elements and tags and features of HTML5. So some browser will support 80%, some will support 70%, some will support 30%, some will support 90%. So it depends from browser to browser which browser support which HTML features or new enhancement. So you should be very careful that whenever you use a HTML5 new elements and tag, make sure that that element and tag is supported by the majority of the browser. So how to find out which browser support what? The best way is to go to http://html5test.com and check out the support. So this is a very important website to find out which browsers support which HTML5 features. So we will go there, and now we will check how to do that. Okay. So here is html5test.com. So what we are going to do in this one is that we are going to check whether the browser you are running is how good it is. So right now I am running html5test.com website, and my browser is a Chrome browser. So what I am going to do is that I am going to check whether what are the features my browser supports and what are the features it does not support. So you can come here and check with this parsing rules. It supports all of this. Canvas, it supports all of this. In video, it does not support the subtitle support. Let us see. So all of these are the supports. Input type equals to date time is not supported by Chrome browser. So if you are going to put the new type called date time in input, it will not be working. Month, week and time is also not working. So the only support which is provided for input type related to date and time is this guy called date. Now what are the other things it does not support? Microdata, custom content handlers in web application, seamless iframe does not support, but it supports most of the features. So now other than that, what you could come here and check that how are the other browsers do it. So let us see, compare various browsers and how the HTML5 support is there. So the topmost, the best one is right now Chrome 21. Next one in terms of support is Opera 12 and Safari 6 and Firefox 14. Internet Explorer 9 is not a very good support for HTML5. So be careful that do not test Internet Explorer 9 for HTML5 code changes. HTML5 will be better supported when Internet IE 10 will be released very soon. So try all of this in Chrome 21 and Opera or Firefox. Now if you want to compare that, compared to this one, this is on the desktop browser. On tablet browser, which browser supports best HTML5? This is the RIM tablet browser, and the Chrome browser for Android 4 has the best support. So you should be careful about that, who is your target audience. If your target audience is all BlackBerry, then it is fine. If your target audience is all Android 4, it is fine. So be careful about that. Now if you want to compare that for a particular feature, which are the browsers which support this, let us assume I want to compare Chrome 21, that is the latest, with the Firefox 14, and I want to compare it with the latest Internet Explorer 10, which is about to launch. Now in this one, I should be able to figure out that what are the features what I am using, will it be supported by all three. So make sure that whatever feature you are using in HTML5 is supported by all three. So which feature I should not use? You should not use subtitle support. You should not use MPEG 4 support. You should not use H.264 support if your majority is using Firefox. Okay. You should use audio element, and you should be careful that MP3 support is not there in Firefox yet. It is there in IE 10 and it is in Chrome. Some of the things like especially month, week and time, somehow they have not been supported by most of the browser. Only date is supported, and even that only by Chrome. So you should avoid complete date, time, month, week, time, all those input type for the time being. Other thing which is not getting supported by good number of browser is color, input type equals to color. So this is also not supported. Microdata is not supported, don't worry about that. Web SQL database is only supported by Chrome, so try to avoid that. Don't use this HTML5 features. These are basically all HTML5 features on the left side. All of this, and it says that which feature is supported by which browser, because not all browser supports all HTML5, because as I said, HTML5 is a specification and a standard which is evolving with the time. So some browser will support 80%, some 90%, some 70%, maybe the next release of that browser will support little more of HTML5 standard. So just be careful and use according to that one. Okay. So this was a quick rundown on how to use and test all your features which is required. As of today, August 2012, IE9 lags compared to Chrome in HTML5 support. So be sure that you are testing your HTML5 code in the right set of browser. Use the features which are supported widely. Test in top 3 browser, Chrome, IE and Firefox, because they have the largest market segment. All three combined covers more than 90% of the user base in the world. Use the features which are supported widely. Don't use a particular feature which is only in Chrome or only in IE or only in Firefox. So this browser support and compatibility is very important thing to understand. You can go html5test.com and read about it. Now next what we are going to do is that SVG element or tag.